All right, welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course, and we are pleased to be joined by Julie Giese, the president of Phoenix Raceway, and it has been a good week for Phoenix Raceway. One, they announced that the 2022 championship weekend will be at Phoenix, and two, this year's championship weekend, which features the top three levels of NASCAR, Cup, Xfinity trucks, as well as the ARCA West Series, will be at full capacity coming up in November. Hey, Julie, how are you?
I'm good. It's been, like you said, it's been a great week for us. Thank you so much for having me.
So since this will be the second year you guys are going to be hosting the championship race, when you were first approached by NASCAR, and I know that Governor Giese was a part of this as well. What was that like to, when they asked you, hey, we'd like to have you host our championship weekend?
That was, honestly, as you say that, I still am getting goosebumps thinking about that, because it's a tremendous honor for us at Phoenix Raceway, for the team here, for our race fans, and really for the state of Arizona to be able to host that. This is a market that hosts big events. I mean, earlier this week, they announced that Super Bowl would be returning to Glendale in 2023. We have Final Fours, we have national championship games. NASCAR championship just fits in with that. So for us to be part of that and have NASCAR be part of all those wonderful events that are being hosted out here, we're incredibly proud of it, very honored, and so excited to get back to that event weekend later this year.
So I know that the other big announcement that we've talked about is that I know you guys did have fans, and fans were allowed to go in the infield, if I'm not mistaken, last year, but it looks like this year you guys won't have to worry about any of that, because you guys will be at full capacity, and it's going to be a championship weekend to remember with the way that the season is going. So kind of talk about that, and I know it was tough the last two times to host limited fans, but there was a lot of access as well that they could have. But now having the stands at full capacity, and the infield fans could possibly go back into the garage area at that time. There's still a lot of things that need to be worked out, but for the most part, it looks like things are going to be business as usual.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, I let out a sigh hearing that, because the last year has been challenging for everybody, and especially for our race fans. You think about the enthusiasm and excitement that we had leading into last year's championship. It was the first championship weekend. We were essentially sold out months ahead of time. So to have to tell some of those amazing fans that have gotten us to this point that they couldn't be here with us it was by far the most difficult day for me personally, because I'm a race fan, and I love our race fans, and to be part of that weekend with them and not have them all here with us was a challenge. So as we look ahead now to this year, as you said, we are full capacity. We're going to have full grandstands. And our infield experience will be open. The garage walkways will be open. Victory Lane will be open. Pre-race festivities will occur with fans, and those championship celebrations that we wanted to have with our fans down in that area inside turns 3 and 4, we get to do that. So everything that we planned for last year and had worked on, now we get to take that file out of the drawer and actually start to execute it, which we're beyond excited about.
Okay, so you kind of talked about that infield experience that I know that Jeff Gordon was a huge part of, but kind of go through that and what fans can expect when they go back to Phoenix this November.
Yeah, that infield experience for us, that was part of our modernization project that we opened in the fall of 2018. And to me, that's what sets Phoenix Raceway apart. It is an immersive fan experience. And that renovation from start to finish was all about how do we continue to just ramp up that fan experience. When you go to a NASCAR race, the access that you get, you don't get in any other sport. And you get that across the board. So for us, it was really, hey, how do we take that and make it even better? And that was what the infield experience really was about. You go in there, there's a pedestrian tunnel underneath the racetrack, so you have free access back and forth from your seat. And you can walk into those garages and see the teams working on the cars. There is a waist-high fence between you and the teams. And you get to watch them work on the cars. It's like walking into the locker room. And then We have a lot of concessions. We have the Busch Light Beer Garden and the Mike's Hard Lemonade stand. We've got the Porticool concession area, just lots of really great areas to sit and watch the race if you want. You can view it on the big screens. And then the part that I absolutely love the most and is my most favorite is Victory Lane. And that was built specifically for the fans. And then I was part of the construction team when we designed that. And it was all about, okay, how do we get as many fans to be part of that Victory Lane experience as possible? And we figured that out. And then we were like, okay, how do we get the car and the team in? That was secondary, honestly. So we created this amazing experience where hundreds of our race fans can be right there celebrating with the driver as they got out of the car.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun to see once fans get back in there. And speaking of the fan experience, you kind of went into that. One of the things that fans, like when they go into the infield, one of the things that they expect is they know that they got their Sharpie pens on them, they got their programs, their hats, their die-cast cars. They expect to get, taking pictures with drivers. They expect, autographs and stuff. That has been missing since this is happening. And I know that some of those things, I know those things are still being worked out, but is it going to be a chance if once fans go to Phoenix Raceway and have access to the infield, they're going to have a good chance to get some driver autographs and take some pictures with some drivers?
It's a great question and one we haven't determined yet. I think as we go through the rest of the year and lead into the race weekend, we'll have a little more clarity on what that looks like. You'll definitely be able to see the teams and the drivers because, again, pit road is right there. You are right up in the middle of everything. So the access won't change. And the driver piece, as we get closer to race weekend, will start to get hammered out on what that really looks like and what type of access they will have.
Yeah, of course. And of course, I know that Phoenix had a race in, the first race in I think it was March. How did that go for you guys? I know that there were still some restrictions in place, but overall, how did that weekend go for you?
It was a great weekend for us. That weekend, we ran the Instacart 500, and it was great to have them on board with us as a partner for the first time. And it looked very similar to last year's championship. We were the same, about 20-25% capacity. But again, just so grateful that we had our race fans here with us. We had a great number of them camping with us the entire week. So it was a really, really fun weekend. And I think it set the stage nicely as we lead into the fall and get ready to crown those 4 champions.
Yeah. Any news on, I know there's usually pre-race concerts and all that stuff. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Nothing to share quite yet, but definitely something we're working on now that we have a good understanding of what the restrictions are and aren't, even more positive. We're working through what that looks like and what we can do.
All right. Well, Julie Giese, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and congrats on having the championship race this year in 2021 in full capacity, and then having once again to crown the NASCAR champions in 2022.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.